It's giving me time to like be prepared. I can change the length of the countdown. Yeah. Gotta get your ring light and all that ready to go. All right, so today we're done with memory. We're moving on to thinking. Very exciting. So it's the second part of cognition. One part down, three more parts to go. I really love this unit because you see terms and you're like, oh, so there's a name for that, and then you see it all the time. So get those notes out. Title your note thinking. Juniors that are joining us, we have a quiz tomorrow over today. So tomorrow. So if you don't watch the video, I'll send them because I don't think they're doing anything later on. There's SAT goes to 5th period. So 6th and 7th should have nothing planned. So they should have 2 hours to do it. Should. Okay. So let's think about thinking. One of the things that we do naturally is we group things that are similar together. So like that's usually a concept. Do you remember what Piaget would have called concepts? A schema. So schema is like a particular, like a Piaget word. But if you're not, if you're not talking about Piaget, you're probably just going to say, oh, a concept. So a concept is a grouping of similar things. Like if I say the word chair, you probably have an idea of a chair in your head. It might be a beanbag chair, it might be a stool, it might be a desk chair, it might be a student desk, it might be your dining room table chair at home. Or like the dad chair that you have in the living room where dad sits. So like all those things are chairs, but chances are when I ask you to think of a chair, you're not combining aspects of all of those. You're just thinking of like one particular chair, but you're not combining beanbag chair, lawn chair and stool all into one like mesh. You're probably thinking of a prototype, which is the ideal version of the concept. So everything that's a chair fits under the idea of chair. But the chair that you're thinking of right now is probably your prototype. It's your ideal version. Okay, so think of a dog. What does the dog look like in your head? Maddie, what's your dog?
She's a golden doodle.
Oh, there's 2 Maddies. Are you thinking of your golden doodle or just a golden doodle in general?
Thinking of mine.
Okay. What color?
She's like a light cream ivory-ish.
Oh, very pretty.
That's because the ivy.
That's my dog.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So is anyone thinking of a different dog? German Shepherd. Yours or just random German Shepherd? Random German Shepherd.
Thinking of the Blue's Clues. That's so random.
The Blue's Clues, like the cartoon dog.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't have to necessarily be dog. It could be like Snoopy.
Yeah. Thinking about those stereotypical photos that like in the 2000s they would carry with the little bags.
Okay, like this little purse dog. Okay, yeah. But notice how we're not combining aspects of all dogs. You are thinking of one particular dog, and so this can lead to confusion because like my prototype might be different than your prototype. And so if I ask my husband, hey, get me flowers, in my mind, I'm thinking long stem red roses. Because in my mind, prototype of a flower is a rose. But he might be thinking like carnations. And like carnations are crap flowers. They're weeds. And so that can lead to conflict when our concepts don't align perfectly because our prototypes are different ideal versions of the thing. Okay, so because of those conflicts, when our prototypes don't necessarily align, there can be some problems that can occur. And so these are ways that we can solve problems. Okay, step by step, trial and error. Can you guys think of a game that kids play that's a trial and error game? Hangman. Oh, that's a good one. People never said that. What? The headbands game of like, what am I? It's like a squirrel or something. What kind of card game is trial and error?
Go fish.
Go fish. Do you have any 2s? No. Go fish. Okay. Battleship. Battleship is trial and error. Those matching games where you like flip the cards over and try to find matches, that's trial and error. Probably not the best way to solve problems. I mean, you can't do that on a test. Like when it comes to like, you're like, oh, I don't know the answer to this question. I'm going to bubble an A. Can you scan my zip grade? Okay, I'm going to bubble in B. Can you scan it now? That doesn't work. So maybe an algorithm is a different way to solve a problem. An algorithm is a step-by-step procedure that guarantees a solution. Guarantees a solution. A recipe is an algorithm. Step 1, to get this ingredient, pour it in a bowl. Step 2, add this ingredient, stir it until blah, 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 fold in the cheese, type of thing. But like, it can take a long time. So let's say that I send you to the grocery store and I tell you to get horseradish. Exactly. You might not know what that is. So what's an algorithm? That is a step-by-step procedure that literally will guarantee that you get the horseradish.
Picture.
But like, just go to any shelf.
No, I should like
you associate it with it's radish, so you associate it with like vegetables, and you go for vegetables.
But do you know it's a vegetable?
It's not a vegetable.
It's not a vegetable.
It's
It's not a vegetable.
It's a mustard.
It's like it's a condiment.
Yeah.
But you would go down every single aisle. You go down every single aisle. You would look at every single thing on every single shelf. Will you eventually find it if it's there?
Yes.
Yes. Is it going to take a long time?
Yeah.
So probably not the best way to solve problems. Algorithm to finding like a date would literally be like asking every single person. The what?
A date, you know? I don't know why.
No.
I had to say that out loud.
Oh, when I said find a date, you thought like at the grocery store. Yeah. No. Okay, so heuristic is probably your best shot at solving problems. It does not guarantee a solution, but it's a good rule of thumb. It's basically a guesstimation. It's speedier, it's quicker than using an algorithm, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be right. Okay, so if I tell you to go get horseradish at the grocery store, what's a heuristic that will lead you there? What's a speedier way that you could find horseradish? Asking someone. Or Maria's all like, a radish, I think it could be a radish, and I'm going to look in the vegetables first. I'm not going to start on the cereal aisle, because that would be silly. But like trying to maybe go to the condiment aisle, maybe go to the vegetable aisle. But it's just a general rule of thumb. So let's say that you are, I don't know, we're going to travel back in time to when I was single and young. If you met someone and that you were like interested in, you would give them your phone number and they would give you yours. There was no like, let me follow you. There was no, let me like scan your little QR code. There was nothing like that.
Where'd you go? What did you say? Sorry.
Oh,
I started my period.
Oh, that's fine. La 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 la. Okay. So, if let's say you're at the club and you're like, ooh, that person is attractive, and they write down their phone number on your hand, which was a thing that people did. Let's say later on the night you wash your hands, and oh no, the last 4 digits of the phone number washes off. What is an algorithm that's going to get that number again?
They did this in Diary for Kids.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. They wrote down a list and wrote every
00001, 00002. Yeah. You would go through all of them, and then by the time they're all like, why did you have to be 9974 or click? But like you would literally call every number and starting from 0001 all the way to 9999. That would take forever. What's a heuristic to find their number again?
Like guess the random numbers and just call them back.
You could.
Phone book.
I think
Phone book.
Don't ask them again.
Go ask them again. Go back to the club and see if you run into them again.
Okay.
Okay, no. That's a problem. Heuristics could be wrong.
Okay.
So, like, while it's faster, the downside is, the trade-off is, like, it might not be correct. And so, like, I might think a horseradish is a radish, and I go to the vegetable aisle. That's probably speedier, but that doesn't mean it's going to be there. Algorithm always gets you the answer. Heuristic, not so much, but it is faster. And there are 2 types of heuristics. These are the terms that like you're going to see all the time. Okay, I have pictures. Aha. Oh, well, that's just heuristics. Do I have the different types of heuristics? No, I don't. Oh, no. Okay. I thought I had the two pictures for heuristics. The first heuristic is representative heuristic. This is based off of stereotypes. This is making a guess based off of stereotypes. So for the example, this was an example pulled off from an AP test a few years ago. Alex is a kindergarten teacher. Alex loves to read and knit. What does Alex look like?
She probably wears. Like,
Oh, you said she.
glasses.
I was
There.
thinking he.
Oh,
No.
Oh, because you probably.
There's
looked
not
at
a
it.
single pronoun. Alex is a kindergarten teacher. Alex is Alexander, maybe. Who knows? Maybe Alexandria. But
I feel
oh,
like
you
he
said
looks like Mr.
glasses.
Farrell.
What?
I feel like he looks like
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
that's so true. Like whoever like Chain for Kids, you know.
Yeah. So like, it feels like you're making a judgment call based on what a stereotypical kindergarten teacher looks like and what a stereotypical just like person that loves to knit looks like. And so I remember a few years ago there was an FRQ. Oh, and AP psychology. They're so tricky. The FRQ was Alex and Sam are moving in together.
Ooh.
And the pronouns of like, who is Alex and Sam? What are they? And so people had to like pick like Alex and Sam when they, her, she, them. And so like based on a stereotype. So if I said like Sam is a truck driver, in your head immediately Sam is a boy. Typically. That's why when people say doctor, most of the time people are going to think that the doctor's a male. And so based off of stereotypes. So here's the thing. Dress up days. Dress up days, you guys dress up based off of representative heuristics. Oh, it's tourist day. What do y'all always wear on tourist day? Hawaiian shirt, flip-flops, and like binoculars. Yes, and a fanny pack. That's based off of a stereotypical answer. Or what's another dress up day that y'all do? Oh, like what? Western, just yesterday with NHS, that was based off of stereotypes and representative heuristics. There's like the country club day. Yeah, where people are like in their little polo. All of that is like, that is just a guess of how people look like. You might not be right at all. Sam or Alex or whoever this is, Alex could be a 300-pound male in a suit and tie that has perfect vision and doesn't even need glasses. But like, so you could be totally wrong at guessing what Alex looks like, but we're making guesses based off of stereotypes. That's different than availability heuristic. Availability heuristics are things that come to mind more quickly. So it's readily available in your head, a readily available memory. Things that come to mind more quickly. And so we perceive them as happening more often. Okay, can anyone tell me statistically what is the most dangerous day of driving on the road? Oh no, I'm not actually talking about calendar day. Not like day of the
When
week.
it just rained.
No, I'm telling you, like, you give me a
New Year's
day,
Day.
like, give me like October 1st. Like, give me,
4th.
no. Actually, I don't know what day of the week this would be.
January 1st or December
Super Bowl.
31st.
A random day in September.
It's the day before a holiday. Tell me which holiday.
After New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve.
Thanksgiving.
Easter.
Thanksgiving.
What?
Not everyone celebrates Christmas. Almost everyone celebrates Thanksgiving. People typically travel a lot for Thanksgiving. Roads are typically the very beginnings of dangerous. Like it's getting cold and maybe sleety, maybe not around here, but most of the country has some sort of weather happening. Maddie, you look like you don't agree.
Drunk, though.
Oh, I'm talking about
Have you met my
No.
As much as New Year's
Wait, they're not
Eve.
supposed to be? Okay,
As
so
much as
New Year's Eve, maybe the way that this is worded, what day? But I'm assuming that most people.
I checked the statistics because I was bored one day,
Oh,
and I think it is New Year's Eve or Super Bowl. So I think I'm right.
okay. I might be wrong.
No. Like yours makes sense in the road. Mine made sense for drunk.
Probably like maybe more drunk driving accidents during these
Yes.
times or something. Okay. Can anyone tell me and this was a calendar day. No, okay, no, just kidding. Back up. So I said most dangerous day is the day before Thanksgiving, typically, historically, whatever. Can anyone tell me what year that the day before Thanksgiving was the most deadly day?
Was the
Yes. So like
9/11.
That's what I was.
2001. So the Thanksgiving day, the day before Thanksgiving, 2001, was the deadliest day of the year in terms of driving. You know why? Because what was readily available in people's mind in November of 2001?
Oh,
Tragedy.
Right.
Death.
Airplanes are dangerous. Airplanes are dangerous. That's all over the news. Oh my gosh, we just saw like 3 crashes of airplanes. Airplanes are dangerous. And so we typically fly to grandma's for Thanksgiving. But not now. Do you see what just happened in New York? Gets on the road, typically not on the road, which means more cars are on the road, more cars that are not typically used to driving on the road. But because people had this readily available in their mind, they think that it happens like plane crashes happen a lot more often than they really do. They don't happen that often, but they're just so readily available in your mind because of TV.
On 99, like
What?
there was a plane crashed on 99 like a couple weeks ago.
Oh my.
Oh.
How did I not know about this? I should probably watch the news. It's probably a
down
little
by
like,
Telge.
or like a little Hooks Airport, like a little tiny like planes. It's probably like a 1-person, 2-person plane. No, it's not like a Boeing like.
I didn't know.
No,
Yeah.
it was like a small plane.
Okay, good.
Okay, so here are some examples. Some examples of heuristics. Here is representative heuristics. We have the example: smart student, manager in a suit and tie. The bad employee is just goofing off and chewing gum and being silly. The thief, I don't know, he just looks shady, I guess. Is it the
white male?
Oh God. Okay. All right. Teacher, studious. I feel like English teacher has like a look.
Yeah.
Like English teacher have like they're wearing a cardigan.
Yes.
They're maybe a long dress or something. I don't know what it is. And then here is a girl just living her best life.
It starts with an S.
It starts with an S. Yes, it's a 4-letter word that starts with an S. So I usually cover that up. But availability heuristics are things that come to mind. So plane crashes are easy to recall, but all the safe flights. How dare you?
I was.
No. It can go either way, strippers gang. It could go so many ways, but it doesn't. So plane crashes, easy to recall. Safe flights, they happen every day, all day long, but no one makes a big stink about a safe flight, so people can remember this one a whole lot more than they remember this one, and so that can lead to fear of flying. Every time that it's like below like crazy weather, we're having, it's, what do they call it? Those polar vortexes are coming down. And that leads to thinking that that's like so it's happening all the time, and it can just like you're not really remembering the global or the gradual warming. Same thing with like lottery. It's easy. Oh, like this person won the lottery and this person won and this person is like, I don't know, got drafted to the NFL or plays NBA or whatever. And it's like now, oh, that's so easy to do those things, and so it leads to more, people taking more risks. Okay, so I want you to come up besides this, besides these examples. Talk to people next to you. Come up with a representative heuristic example where you are making a judgment call based off of a stereotype. You're making a judgment call based off of a stereotype with each other. Are you talking to me? That's right. You have a question?
I wanted is this like assumption? Is that like?
It is recording. It's recording the screen. It's recording me.
It looks like there's the actual sun.
Oh, whoa! Look at that. It's fine. They don't need to see me. They need to see the screen.
I'm saying Justin Bieber.
I'm not wrong.
Justin Bieber fans?
Yeah, young girls. Yes.
Okay, so give me some examples of I would assume this person is like this,
Sorority
but I might be wrong. Okay, what does a sorority girl look like?
Oh, with
girl.
white
Dumb
blonde.
women, blonde hair.
So if you see someone on campus that looks like that, you're just assuming sorority girl.
or
Does she
party
have
girl in general.
right?
Yeah.
Is that necessarily true?
And they have like the
No.
girl accent.
Keep in mind, these aren't necessarily true. Making judgment calls based on stereotypes is a heuristic. You're going to save time by jumping to conclusions, but you could totally be wrong with the conclusion that you jump to. Can anyone give me another example for a representative?
You didn't like
Just
guys.
like
Yeah, they
those people that wear like hippies who have like the certain outfits and
Like alternative style type of thing?
right.
Druggy.
Oh yeah, they must do drugs. Or they must, I don't know. They must think about this topic in this certain way. Or they, I don't even know. What would you say?
They must be Democrats.
Right, okay, so they must vote a certain way. And so that could be completely wrong. Just because someone presents themselves based on a stereotype does not mean anything. Go.
Have you seen like those Edgar, like the guys, like the
The
Latino
Edgar
guys
cuts.
with like the Edgar cuts, like the mushroom looking cuts?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my
Like those Latino guys that go like
Everyone
that
grabs
with
their
their pants
phones.
down their
Saggy
and they're like
really,
saggy
really
pants and
bad.
they're like walk like
A
this.
really awful chain and a haircut. You probably
Yes.
not.
And then the girls are always like these tiny.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is this like, are these people in the hallway?
This is yeah.
That's why I try. That's what you mean. Okay, that's like like a friar. Like you know what I mean? Like in like Shakespeare. Yeah.
But yeah, and then they wear like the baggy, like white
Yes.
pants.
Right. But assuming that kid, like I make assumptions all the time. I like, oh god, like the kids that walk past with like the hats, and it's like every single day. I walk past and I'm all like, wow, you're really gonna go far in life. Wow, you're a smarty. And that right there, they could be smart. They could be top of the class. They could be making all A's. I have no idea. I'm just making a judgment call. I could totally be wrong.
I think you should make a judgment call, like what you first thought of everyone.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, bad. Okay.
I promise you won't hurt her.
Yeah,
feelings.
you should
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
see you.
No. I can't do that. I can't because that's unfair. That's unfair.
But it would be so
It would
interesting.
be yeah, we want to know.
We're asking.
I do not have any negative feelings towards any of you when I first met you.
That's
I
not
have
fair.
neutral.
Yeah, it's not like we're not
Oh, now I have many negative. Moving on. Okay. So, see, that's the thing that people say they want to know, but then they don't really want to know. That's true. That's true. Okay, so obviously there can be thinking problems. I thought that person was dumb based off the way that they looked, and so I was wrong. Turns out they were the smartest in the class. I have made that assumption before, where like a kid walked in first day. He's in 5th grade, and he walked in and he kind of looked like a yee, and he had a hat on, and I was like, oh great. And then I was like, oh, he's probably gonna drop. Consistently makes A's and B's. Consistently makes A's and B's. Smart kid. I would have never known that. And even when I told my husband, I was like, I just assumed he was going to be another one of those hat wearing yees in the hallway. And he goes, oh no, him? He's really smart. He doesn't say anything, but he's really smart. And I was like, oh, well, man, I was wrong. So there are problems with our thinking. We're not always right. I assumed that person was dumb. Turns out I was wrong. So confirmation bias, though, can lead to more thinking obstacles. It's a tendency to search for things that already confirm your bias. You look for articles when you're trying to, I don't know, you're writing a paper or something, and you look for articles that already confirm what you already believe, and look at you. You were right the whole time. This morning on the way to school, I was listening to a podcast by NPR, and it was talking about, it's basically 9 months to the day, this month, that Roe v. Wade was overturned. And so now there are people that actually exist that would not have existed before Roe v. Wade because they would have been aborted. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, that's a perfect example of confirmation bias, because people that are pro-life are going to search for articles that confirm their pro-lifeness. People that are pro-choice are going to look for articles that are going to confirm their pro-choiceness, and then that just hold on. If those people got together and those people got together and they have the same belief, what?
Polarization.
They get group polarization, and this does not lead to any. I mean, at least even more obstacles. It doesn't lead to any satisfaction on both sides or getting along. All right, this one is my favorite. Okay. Belief perseverance. When you cling on to something, even though you've been proven wrong, you have evidence that you are wrong. Relationships, you got cheated on, and then you're like, I love them. Yes, it's like, but they cheated on you. And it's like, no, they didn't. It's like, here's the pictures. They admitted it. No, no, they didn't. Those are all fake. They would never do that. But my favorite. She doesn't work here anymore, but there was a teacher here that literally believed that dinosaurs did not exist. And I was like, but they're bones. There's like skeletal bones.
Thought the world was flat.
Vestal thought the world was flat, and he taught world geography. So to freshmen who are so moldable and are going to assume the teacher's right and still see the teacher as like all knowing. Yeah, he convinced an entire class of people that the world was flat. Teaching world geography.
Did he actually? I didn't
Yes.
That.
Yeah. He who's on level?
How did they test this? I'm very confused.
What?
There wasn't a test. Your school was cooler.
Wait, what?
How did the students pass like the standardized testing? For
There's only standardized testing for U.S. history.
Was this not in
No, U.S. history. Sorry. What? The only standardized test is for U.S. history, which is why they typically put all of the good teachers in U.S. history because that's the only one that matters.
Okay.
Usually. So yeah, believing. Like you can prove. In fact, there's a video out there. They took a whole bunch of flat earthers, and they're all like, "Well, this it's like a laser or like a camera that shoots like straight out." And they said, "We're gonna measure something in the distance, and then in like 30 minutes, we're gonna measure it again. And if the world was really round, like you said, it should have a 15-degree difference or something like that." So they did it, and they did it again, and they measured it, and it was 15 degrees. And the guy said, well, that the camera must be in on it. And I'm all like, oh, honey, when you walk into the point and you still miss it, that's amazing. That's amazing.
What happened to these people?
Hopefully they don't read. I don't know. I don't know what happens to them people, but that's what's wrong when you don't teach people to critically think. Cutting funding in education. All right, belief bias. So this one is not as silly. Because this is the tendency for your pre-existing beliefs to distort logical reasoning. You can't think logically because of your pre-existing conditions.
Oh, that's so fun. I can't.
Okay, so do I have it still? No, I don't. Okay, I used to have like a little thought problem. Maybe I do. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Oh, here. This is confirmation bias. Why did this pop up earlier? I don't know. I've heard some rhetoric from both sides. Time to do my own research to find the real truth. Literally the first link that agrees with you, what you already believe. And he's like, oh. Okay, so here is belief bias. Here are these rules. Rule number 1, premise number 1, Democrats support free speech. Premise number 2, dictators are not Democrats. Conclusion, dictators do not support free speech. Does anyone believe that if this is true and this is true, that is true? Raise your hand if you think that sounds logical. If Democrats support free speech and dictators are not Democrats, then dictators do not support free speech.
I mean,
But
half and half.
it feels more logical than this.
Communism.
Hold on. Robins have feathers. Chickens are not robins. Therefore, chickens do not have feathers. Is that true?
Yes.
Chickens do have feathers. This is like you see the flaw here, but somehow this one sticks out as being way wrong, and this one sticks out as like, well, maybe that might be true, but it's very possible that dictators do support free speech. That doesn't mean one or the other. It's not mutually exclusive there.
Isn't communism like all the way, or socialism, I guess, is all the
But
way?
those are not political. Well, I mean, communism kind of is, but like those are economic. That's on the economic spectrum, not necessarily on the political spectrum. And so dictatorship would be more on the political spectrum than on the economic spectrum. But they don't necessarily have to be in line historically. They have been in line, but they don't necessarily have to be. All right. And last but not least, things that get in our way of thinking correctly. Fixation. The inability to view a problem from a fresh perspective. The inability to view a problem from a fresh perspective. Not being able to take a step back. Have you ever had a problem and you've been like, maybe like, I've been dealing, I got an app on a game on my phone, and it's like where you make letters, where you make words,
Oh yeah.
and you like do the, like, you, I don't know, I'll show you.
Like Wordscape.
Yeah, it's Wordscape. And so have you ever just like been staring at it, you're like, I have no idea what word it is,
Yeah,
and then you show someone, and then they immediately see it, and you're like, well, crap. Okay, because you were so fixated on maybe starting that word with this letter, or you didn't think about the pronunciation of this word correctly. And so like you're so fixated that you can't see from a fresh perspective. So I have a task for you. There are 6 matches there. Okay? On your paper. Arrange those 6 matches. You can just draw them with your pen. Arrange 6 matches to form 4 equilateral. No.
Oh, never mind. That's definitely not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh. Arrange it to form. Yeah, 4 equilateral triangles without breaking any of the matches, and you have to use all of them.
See, I thought you were going to say, are they all the same length? I was like, they look the same length.
But that's the Solomon-Asch line experiment that you're thinking of.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought you were going.
Okay, so draw it on your paper. See if you can become unfixated, or if you're going to become fixated on solving it. Do you think you know it?
I think so.
Can I see?
I lost it. Crap. There's a lot of groups.
We're down a square. Oh, wait, here. I was like, a square is really easy to draw.
So is this one match here?
Yes.
So that means, wait, hold on. So this right here is a half a match length, am I right? And then that's a full match length. An equilateral means with the same line each side.
Wait, so
Oh, I think I did it.
look, math is not my strong.
It's Illuminati.
It's not the Illuminati. How many matches you got there, girl? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 7.
What?
No, you have 6.
Let's do it.
But those not are equilateral. Those ones have sides that are half length. So this is a half match length.
Oh. Wait, I thought the right. I don't.
Whoa.
Geometry was during COVID.
Wait,
Okay.
like 3 on the app, but then they're different lengths.
Yes. So a lot of you are doing the classic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 4 triangles, but they're not equilateral because this is 1 match length. But this area right here is just a half match length, and they all need to be full match length. You become so fixated, and it's my fault. I told you to draw it on paper.
Did you say 2?
No.
Or how many did you say?
4.
Never mind.
I told you to draw it on paper. Paper is flat, and more likely you're going to have a 2D answer, when really the answer is 3D.
Okay, but mine looks like that. What if mine was
Catherine got it.
like that?
Yeah.
No, yours was not.
It looks like that.
If you close your eyes and think about that picture, then maybe. But that is, yeah, you become so fixated on drawing it, and so fixated that maybe it has to it has to be something that you can draw easily, that you are forgetting that maybe it's a 3D option. You know how to draw 3D? Catherine, bring me your paper. Oh, you already erased it? Oh my God.
What is it?
That's not it.
Pyramid.
Did you do it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the 3.
Yeah, I see it.
It's just.
Yeah, that's not gonna help you.
Like
Um,
mine definitely.
okay, So we have one last story to tell. And it's a story of a lady on a bike.
How many things are on my
How many things?
are on the slide?
I don't, this many.
Okay, next.
Okay. So more thinking obstacles because I couldn't fit it all on the same page. So here we have mental set. So I just gave you an answer. I just gave you a prompt where the solution was 3D. Which means if I was to give you another riddle, now you have the idea of maybe 3D answers could work. Because now you have a mental set. A mental set is using solutions that have worked in the past. Yet, that solution might not be helpful now. So on like a math test, it's all like, well, I don't know how to solve this, so I'm just going to use the equation that I used like on question 2 or something. Even though that's not the equation that you should be using now. So my story is my bike story, which I believe my husband gives a preview to. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can tell, this is my husband and I in Mackinac Island. This was pre-Matthew, so this was many years ago. We were on a tandem bike. So this is me on the back half of the bike, him on the front. And I don't know if you can tell, it says like 0 of like 8.5 miles or something. So we were at the very beginning of this little bike trek. Mackinac Island only has bikes and horse carriages. And so you and it's an island and you have to go around just with, there's no cars on the island. There's one ambulance, but there's no cars. Well, at this point, I had not been on a bike in like 15 years. And so I was not super confident on a bike. I was like, let's get a tandem. And he's like, ugh. I was like, can I please get a helmet? And he's like, basically stop being a nerd. And I was like, okay, fine. His parents went with us and they're like avid bikers. They're like constantly going on hikes and they're very athletic and doing their thing. And so they each had their own bike. So we get on the tandem and around like mile 1, I'm feeling pretty confident. You know, they say you don't forget how to ride a bike and it's all coming back to me. Fantastic. So I get really cocky and I'm like, hey, his mom. Hey, Mr. Ramirez, can we, because she's divorced, it's a long story. Hey, Mr. Ramirez, can you switch? You get back on the tandem and I'll just take your bike because I just wanted to see if I can still do it. She's like, that's fine. But keep in mind, this is mile 1. So I get on the bike. I don't know if you know this about bikes, but bikes have 2 different types of brakes. Okay? They have the brakes where you pedal backwards and that stops you. They also have the hand brakes. My bike as a kid was hand brakes. This bike was pedal back brakes. I knew that going in. I tested it out. I like drove in a little circle. I tested it out. Good. Okay. So we're going downhill and I'm speeding up and I'm changing gears because I don't really know what I'm doing. And I'm like, when you change gears, you have to pedal faster for the gears to like change. And so I'm just gaining speed. At one point, I go past everybody and I clearly remember saying, "Wee, look at me." Okay. Road is starting to turn. I'm going to have to turn along with it because when the road is turning, there's like rocks and there's trees and there's bushes. And after that, there's like cliff to like ocean water. Okay. Lake water, Lake Michigan. But it's oceany. So, I mean, there's literal icebergs in the middle of the lake. So, I'm turning, but I realize there's no way that I can turn safely with the speed that I'm currently going because I am like going fast. So I use a solution that's worked for me in the past. The solution of handbrakes. And I am just frantically making this motion on both sides of my handle. And that's worked for me in the past. So when I've done this in the past, I have slowed down. I completely forgot about a different solution that would be working a little bit better now. So I don't slow down. I just grip and I go straight into the bushes. I hit a tree. My body goes over the handlebars. I land up on the tree. I slide down the bark and land on my neck.
Like the cartoon?
Like the cartoon. But here's the thing. My husband is farther back than me, so I do not scream. I do not yell. So all he sees is me just going straight, making 0 attempts to stop, and then fly over my handlebars and hit a tree. There's 0 attempt at stopping. It didn't work out for me. Mental set is not a good thing. It is an obstacle and could seriously injure you for the rest of the summer.
I think we should stay after class and finish. It's not like we can be tardy.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
It's so loud. Really? Did you say the bell already rang?
Yeah, but look what we're doing tomorrow. It says more thinking obstacles.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're where we need to be.
This part won't be on the quiz. Or is the quiz?
I feel like this.
The quiz is over this
Wait, can you
today. Today.
I know they first like taught of us now. Wait, that was a bell.
That was the bell. Oh, they said they weren't gonna